Hello. Ah, nag-video kay mo? Unang kung totoo, anak. Unang kung totoo, nasbuntay daw ko anak ka. Nahubog. Nahubog lagi ko. Uy, nahubog ko. Nahubog na lagi ko. Uy, ugma ang buntag anak ha. Oo, ano totoo. Ah, sige, sige. Ah, sige. Ah. Hello guys, welcome to my live stream here at my channel, guys, Alibi channel. Oh my. Tonight our topic is all about comedy, It is a genre of fiction that consists of discourses or works intended to be humorous or amusing by inducting laughter, especially in theater, especially in film. And a comedy film is a category of film in which the main emphasis is on humor. These films are designed to make the audience laugh through amusement and more. Now, a comedy itself, it is a noun, a plural means comedies. It is a play, a movie, etc. of light and humorous character with a happy or cheerful ending, a dramatic work in which the central motif is the triumph over adverse circumstance, resulting in a successful or happy conclusion. It is that branch of the drama which concerns itself with this form of composition, the comic element of drama, of literature generally or of life, and any literary composition dealing with a theme suitable for comedy or employing the methods of comedy. It is any comic or humorous incident or series of incidents. And when we talk of comedy film, a comedy film is a category of film in which the main emphasis is on humor. These films are designed to make the audience laugh through amusement and most often work by exaggerating characteristics for humorous effect. Films in this style traditionally have a happy ending and a black comedy being an exemption, one of the oldest genres in film, and derived from the classical comedy and theater. Some of the earliest silent films were comedies as slapstick comedy, often released on visual depictions without requiring sound. When sound films became more prevalent during the 1920s, comedy films took another swing as laughter could result from burlesque situations, but also dialogue. Comedy, compared with other film genres, puts much more focus on individual stars, with many former stand-up comics transitioning to the film industry due to their popularity, while many comic films are light-hearted stories with no intent other than to amuse. Others contain political or social commentary, such as The King of Comedy and Wag the Dog. The screenwriter's taxonomy contends that film genres are fundamentally based upon a film's atmosphere, character, and story, and therefore the levels drama and comedy are too broad to be considered a genre. Instead, the taxonomy contends that comedy films are a type of film, listing at least a dozen different subtypes of comedy films. There are also subtypes of comedy. We have a silent film era. The first comedy film was La Roche Arose, that was on 1895, directed and produced by Louis Lumiere. The most noted comedy actors of the era were Charlie Chaplin, Howard Lloyd, and Buster Keaton. And also, there is an art chick comedy. The anarchic comedy film, as its name suggests, is a random, upstream, of conscientious type of humor, which often lampoons a form of authority. The genre takes the genre dates from the silent era, and the most famous examples of this type of film would be those produced by Monty Python. Others include Duck Soup, that was in 1933, and National Lampoon's Animal House, that was in 1978. Okay, here's another kind of comedy, bathroom comedy or gross out comedy. A gross out film, alright. A gross out films are a relatively recent development and rely heavily on vulgar, sexual, or toilet humor. They often contain a healthy dose of profanity. Examples include Porky's, that was in 1982, Dumb and Dumber in 1994, There's Something About Mary in 1998, and American Pie in 1999. Also, there is a comedy of ideas. This subtype uses comedy to explore serious ideas such as religion, sex, or politics. Often the characters represent particular divergent world views and are forced to enter for comedic effect and social commentary. Some examples include Bob Roberts in 1992 and MASH in 1970. There's another type, we call it comedy of manners. A comedy of manners satirizes the manners and affectations of a social class, often represented by stock characters. Also, satirical comedy drama, and the plot is often concerned with an illicit love affair or some other scandal. However, the plot is generally less important for its comedic effect than its witty dialogue. This form of comedy has a long ancestry, dating back at least as far as Much Ado About Nothing, created by William Shakespeare. Examples for comedy of manners films include Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961 and Under the Tuscan Sun in 2003. All right, guys. There's another kind of comedy that it is called black comedy. All right, the black comedy film deals with normally taboo subjects, including death, murder, crime, suicide, and war in a satirical manner. Examples include Arsenic and Old Lace in 1944, Monsieur Verdox in 1947, King Hearts and Coronets in 1949, The Lady Killers in 1955, Dr. Strange's Love, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb in 1964. The Love One in 1965, MASH in 1970, Sub in 1981, The King of Comedy in 1983, Monty Python's The Meaning of Life 1983, Brazil 1985, After Hours 1985, The War of the Roses 1989, Hitters 1989, Wag the Dog in 1997, Your Friends and Neighbors in 1998, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels in 1998, Keeping Mom in 2005, Thank You for Smoking in 2005, Born After Reading in 2008, The Wolf of Wall Street in 2013, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri in 2017, Jolly LLB in 2013, Jolly LLB 2 in 2017, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019, and also Aki versus Aki in 2020. Another another kind of comedy is for farce. The farcical films exaggerate situations beyond the realm of possibility, thereby making them entertaining. One examples include In the Loop in 2009 and Some Like It Hot in 1959. Another kind of comedy film is mockumentary. Mockumentary comedies use a fictional documentary style, which includes interview and documentary footage along regular scenes. Example include The Gods Must Be Crazy in 1980, This is Spinal Tap in 1984, Waiting for Goffman in 1996, Best in Show 2000, Burat 2006, and Reboot Camp in 2020. Okay, here's another kind of comedy film, the observational humor. These films find humor in the common practices of everyday life. Some film examples of observational humor include Carn- Carnage in 2011 and The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood in 2002. Other kind of comedy film is parody or spoof. A parody or spoof film satirizes other film genres or classic films. Such films mockumentary employ sarcasm, stereotyping, mockery of scenes from other films, and the obviousness of meaning in a character's actions. Examples of this form include Mud and Sand in 1922, Blazing Saddles in 1974, Airline in 1980, Young Frankenstein in 1974, Spaceballs in 1987, and Scary Movie in 2000. All right, there's another kind of comedy film, the sex comedy. a humor that is preliminary derived from sexual situations and desire, such as Choke in 2008 and Knock Up in 2007. Another kind of comedy film is situational comedy, humor that comes from knowing a stacked group of characters or character types, and then exposing them to different situations to create humorous and ironic juxtaposition. Case in point. The best examples are the Galaxy Quest in 1999 and Media's Big Happy Family in 2011. Another kind of comedy film is straight comedy. This broad subtype applies to films that do not attempt a specific approach to comedy but rather use comedy for comedic sake. Example, The Clawless in 1995 and Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993 are examples of street comedy films. Alright, another kind of comedy film is slapstick. Slapstick films involve exaggerated, boisterous action to create impossible and humorous situations because it relies predominantly on visual depictions of events. It does not require sound. Accordingly, the subgenre was ideal for silent movies and was prevalent during that era. Popular silent stars of the slapstick genre include Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, Roscoe Arbuckle, and Harold Lloyd. Some of these stars, as well as acts such as Laurel and Hardy and the Three Stooges, also found success incorporating slapstick comedy into sound films. Modern examples of slapstick comedy include Mr. Bean's Holiday in 2007 and The Three Stooges in 2012. Another kind of comedy film is surreal comedy. A surreal comedy is storytelling that includes behavior and storytelling techniques that are illogical, includes bizarre juxtapositions, absurd situations, and unpredictable reactions to normal situations. For instance, Monty Python and the Holy Grail in 1975 and Swiss Army Man in 2016. Another kind of comedy film is action comedy. Action comedy films in this genre type blend comic antics and action, where the stars combine one-liners with a thrilling plot and daring stunts. The genre became a specific draw in North America in the 80s when comedians such as Eddie Murphy started taking more action-oriented roles such as in 48 Hours in 1982 and Beverly Hills Cop in 1984. Subgenres of the action comedy known as macro genres and the screenwriters taxonomy include. As we go forward, our time is 47 minutes after 4 in the morning. Another kind of comedy films is martial art films. The slapstick martial arts films became a mainstay of Hong Kong action cinema through the work of Jackie Chan, among others such as Who Am I in 1998. Kung Fu Panda is an action comedy that focuses on the martial art of Kung Fu. Next is the superhero films. Some action films focus on superheroes, for example, The Incredibles, Hancock, Kick-Ass, and Mystery Men. Another category of the action comedy considered a pathway in a screenwriter's taxonomy includes. Another type is body films. It is a film starring mismatched partners for comedic effects such as in Midnight Run, Rush Hour, 21 Jump Street, Bad Boys, Starsky and Hutch, and Ted. Another comedy film, a kind of comedy film, is comedy thriller. A comedy thriller is a genre type that combines elements of humor and suspense. Films such as Silver Streak, Charade, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Broadsheets, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Grosse Point Blanc, The Thin Man, The Big Fix, and The Lady Vanishes. Alright, here's another kind of comedy film, the comedy mystery. A comedy mystery is a film genre combining elements of comedy and mystery fiction, though the genre arguably peaked in the 1930s and 1940s. Comedy mystery films have been continually produced since. Examples include the Pink Panther and the Scooby-Doo films. Yes. All right. Here's another kind of comedy film, the crime comedy. All right. The crime comedy is a hybrid and mix of crime and comedy films. Examples of crime comedies include Inspector Palmos Mistake, 1960, On Brother Where Art Due in 2000, Take the Money and Run, 1969, and Whole Frame Roger Rabbit in 1988. Another kind of comedy film is fantasy comedy. A fantasy comedy films use magic, supernatural, or mythological figures for comic purposes. Some fantasy comedy includes an element of parody or satire, turning fantasy conventions on their head, such as the hero becoming a cowardly fool or the princess being a klutz. Examples of these films include Big being John Malkovich, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Scared Stupid Night, Night at the Museum, Groundhog Day, Flick and Shriek. Another kind of comedy film is comedy horror. A comedy horror is a genre type in which the usual dark themes and scared tactics attributed to humor films are treated with a humor approach. These films either use goofy horror cliques such as in Scream, Young, Frankenstein, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Lady Shop of Horrors, The Haunted Mansion, The Scary Movie, where campy styles are favored. Some are much more subtle and don't parody horror, such as An American Werewolf in London. Another style of comedy horror can also rely on over-the-top violence and gore, such as in The Evil Dead in 1981, The Return of the Living Dead in 1985, Brain Dead 1992, and Club Dread in 2004. Such films are sometimes known as Splatstick, Apartment 2 of the World's Slaughter, and Shipstick. It is reasonable to put Ghostbusters in this category. Another kind of comedy film is life or day in the life comedy. Day in the life films takes small events in a person's life and raises their level of importance. The small things in life feel as important to the protagonist and the audience as a climactic battle in an action film or the final shout out in a western. Often the protagonists deal with multiple overlapping issues in the course of the film. Just as we do in life, the day in the life comedy often finds humor in commenting upon the absurdity or irony of daily life. For example, the Terminal 2004 or Waitress in 2007. Character humor is also used extensively in the live comedies, as can be seen in American Splendor in 2003. Our next other kind of comedy film is romantic comedy. Romantic comedies are humorous films with central themes that reinforce our beliefs about love. Themes such as love at first sight, love conquers all, or there is someone out there for everyone. The story typically revolves around characters falling into and out of the back into love. Example, the Amelie in 2001, Annie Hall in 1977, Charade in 1963, City Lights in 1931, Four Weddings and a Funeral in 1984, IT in 1927, The Lobster in 2015, My Favorite Wife in 1940, Pretty Woman in 1990, Some Like It Hot in 1959. There's something about Mary in 1998, and When Harry Met Sally in 1998 are examples of romantic comedies. All right, another kind of comedy film is screwball comedy. A subgenre of the romantic comedies, screwball comedies appear. The focus of the story of a central male character until a strong female character takes center stage. At this point, the man's story becomes secondary to a new issue typically introduced by the woman. This story grows in significance and as it does, the man's masculinity is challenged by the sharp-witted woman who is often his love interest. Typically, it can include a romantic element and interplay between people of different economic strata, quick and witty, repartee, some form of role reversal, and a happy ending. Some examples of screwball comedy are It Happened One Night in 1934, Bringing Up Davy in 1938, The Philadelphia Story in 1940, Has Girl Friday in 1940, Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 1941, and more recently, What's Up Doc in 1972. Alright, check your time as 58 minutes after 4 in the morning. Another kind of comedy film is science fiction comedy. Science fiction comedy is a films often exaggerate the elements of traditional science fiction films to comic effect. Examples including Back to the Future, Spaceballs, Ghostbusters, Evolution Galaxy Quest, Hellacious Acres, The Case of Chan Glass, Inner Space, Iron Sky, Mars Attacks, Men in Black, and The World's End. Next is the sports comedy. The sports comedy as combines the genre of comedy without of sports. Thematically, the story is often one of our team versus their team. Their team will always try to win, and our team will show the world that they deserve recognition or redemption. The story does not always have to involve team. The story could also be about an individual athlete, or the story could focus on an individual playing on a team. The comedic aspect of the software genre often comes from physical humor. Happy Gilmore in 1996 is an example. Character humor and Caddyshack in 1980, or the Jacks supposition of bad athletes succeeding against the odds. The Bad News Bears, that was in 1976. All right. Another comedy film is a war comedy. War films typically tells the story of a small group of isolated individuals who, one by one, get killed, literally or metaphorically, by an outside force until there is a final fight to the death. The idea of protagonists facing death is a central expectation in a war film. War comedies infuse this idea of confronting death with a morbid sense of humor. In a war film, even though the enemy may outnumber or outpower the hero, we assume that the enemy can be defeated if only the hero can figure out how. Often, the strategic sensitivity provides humorous opportunities in a war comedy. Examples include Good Morning Vietnam, MASH, The Francis, The Talking Moon series, and others. Alright, check your time. 2 minutes after 5 in the morning. Another comedy film is Western comedy. Films in the Western game genre often take place in the American Southwest or in Mexico, with a large number of scenes occurring outside, so we can soak in nature's rugged beauty versus visceral expectations for the audience include fist fights, gunplay, and cheese scenes. There is also the expectation of spectacular panoramic images of the countryside, including sunsets, wide open landscape, and endless deserts and sky. Western comedies often find their humor in specific characters. Example is Three Amigos in 1986, and interpersonal relationships, Lone Ranger in 2013, or in creating a parody of the Western Rango in 2011. So much for this. About comedy, it is a noun, com.e.dy slash. It is a comedy, K-R dash M-E dash D-A, comedy. Plural is comedies. And a definition of comedy, it is medieval narrative that ends happily. It is a literary work written in a comic style or treating a comic theme. All right. Okay, guys, to continue, we have here another song offering. It is another karaoke, a minus one karaoke, and OPM. All right. This is popularized by Rosel Nava. This is for you. Kahit na nagbulaw ka ang taba, kahit na sinasaktan ako, umiyak ako, dahil sa'yo, ito pa rin ako, halos baliw sa'yo. Kahit na niloloko mo lang ako, Kahit na tumingin ka sa iba, magmahal ka ng iba, magbubulag-bulagan ako. Masakit man ito dito sa puso ko. Dahil mahal na mahal kita. Hindi ako matatakot, mahiya. Ano man ang sabihin nila, dahil mahal kita, dahil mahal na mahal kita. Gagawin ko ang lahat, pangako mo lang di ako iiwan. Dahil mahal na mahal kita. Alright, enjoy watching. Kahit na niloloko mo lang ako, kahit na tumingin ka sa iba, magmahal ka ng iba, magbubulag-bulagan ako. Masakit man ito dito sa puso ko. Dahil mahal na mahal kita. Hindi ako matatakot, mahihiya. Ano man ang sabihin nila, dahil mahal kita, dahil mahal na mahal kita. Gagawin ko ang lahat, pangako mo lang di ako iiwan. Dahil mahal na mahal kita. Gagawin ko ang lahat, pangako mo lang di ako iiwan. Thanks for watching. Alright, another song. It is from
Get up to 30% off coupons with the promo code.
It is from Royal Cortez, my friends. Enjoy watching. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share here in my channel. Hindi ko na sana pinagmasdan ang iyong ganda, at hindi na rin pinansin pa bawat ngiti mong may gayuma. Dahil sa akala ko di ako iibig sa'yo, ikaw pala ang aaking sa puso ko. Kaya ngayon'y waring gulong-gulo ang puso ko't isipan. Araw-gabi ay pangarap ka, at sa tuwina'y nababaliza. Dahil ba ang puso ko labis na umibig sa'yo? Hanggang kailan magtitiis ilim ang pag-ibig ko? Anong gagawin sa utos ng damdamin? Para bang hangin kahirap pigilin? Sana'y unawain ang pusong sa'yo'y baliw. Nais kong malaman mo na inibig kita. Thanks for watching. Hindi ko na sana pinagmasdan ang iyong ganda, at hindi na rin pinansin pa bawat ngiti mong may gayuma. Dahil sa akala ko di ako iibig sa'yo, ikaw pala ang aakin sa puso ko. Ano ang gagawin sa utos ng damdamin? Para bang hangin kahirap pigilin? Sana'y unawain ang pusong sa'yo'y baliw. Nais kong malaman mo na inibig kita. Nais kong malaman mo na inibig kita. Nais kong malaman mo na inibig kita. Thanks for watching and enjoy my show tonight. It is a Nice Allegri channel, and I am your host tonight, Nice Allegri. Kailangan pa bang ako ay tanungin? Kailangan pa bang sa'yo ay bigasin? Na mahal kita at wala nang iba. Masdan mo't makikita sa aking mga mata. Kailangan pa bang ako ay lumapit at sabihin sa'yo ang laman ng dibdib? Na mahal kita at wala nang iba. Masdan mo't makikita sa aking mga mata. Hindi na kailangan ako ay tanungin. Hindi na kailangan sa'yo ay bigasin. Sa tuwing magtatama ang ating paningin, sa mata makikita ang aking damdamin. You can help my channel to improve this channel by liking, sharing, commenting, watching, and you know, I am here. My exact location is I am here in iClick Photography, and I would like to thank TNG Talent and Event Management. Thanks for watching, all guys, all over Asia Pacific region. I am yours, Jolly. Nice Allegory. Hindi na kailangang ako ay tanungin. Hindi na kailangang sa'yo ay bigkasin. Sa tuwing magtatama ang ating paningin, sa mata makikita ang aking damdamin. Kailangan pa bang ako ay tanungin? Kailangan pa bang sa'yo ay bigasin? Na mahal kita at wala nang iba. Masdan mo't makikita sa aking mga mata. Masdan mo't makikita sa aking mga mata. Masdan mo't makikita sa aking mga mata. Thanks for watching. That was popularized by Royal Cortez. And I am your host tonight, Nice Allegory, here in my channel. Nice Allegory channel. Thanks for watching our next song. This is again popularized by Royal Cortez. And I hope you like this. Thanks for watching, guys. All over Asia Pacific. Halata ng lungkot sa iyong mga mata. Kaya di mo sabihin aking nadarama ang paglayo niya. Huwag mong ipagdamdam, mabuti nga't na lamang siya'y salawan. Karamay mo ako kahapon at ngayon. Saan mo bukas? Ako'y naroon ako. Habang ako'y buhay, katulong mo at sa iyo'y nagmamahal. Tutulungan kitang malimot mo siya. Ibabalik ang dati mong sigla. Aking gagamutin puso mong sinugatan, sugat na dulot ng salawahan. Halata ang lungkot sa iyong mga mata, kahit di mo sabihin aking nadarama ang paglayo niya'y huwag mong ipagdamdam, mabuti nga't na lamang siya'y salawahan. Tutulungan kitang malimot mo siya, ibabalik ang dati mong sigla. Aking gagamutin puso mong sinugatan, sugat na dulot ng salawahan. Tutulungan kitang malimot mo siya, ibabalik ang dati mong sigla. Aking gagamutin, puso mo'y sinugatan, sugat na dulot ng salawan. Malilimot mo siya, tutulungan kita. Alright, thanks for watching, and that's for tonight. That's for today. Thanks for watching. Bye. Please subscribe, like, and share.